drunk by the end of the scene.
I was drunk before the scene started, pal.
Those of you who are fans of crime detective shows probably have heard many things about an American thriller TV series called The Blacklist. Rich in plot and amazing characters, this TV show has done a great job in making most of the fans quickly fall in love with it. Even though The Blacklist lacks comedy, the funny onstage bloopers definitely made up for it. In today's video, we'll talk about The Blacklist's funny moments, on-set bloopers you might have missed. Before we dive into the video, do not forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel with notifications on so you don't miss any of the new videos that we post. At first, let's talk about Season 6 funny moments. So the season starts with a bank robbery scene, which very soon turned out to have an unexpected plot twist, as Red and Demby were also there planning their own robbery. Red started to criticize the robbers' technique. After that, he decided to help the robbers escape in exchange for half of their haul. During the car chase scene that came after, Red looked very disappointed because the robbers started opening fire to the police. In the end, the robbers still got caught. When Red returned to the bank the very next day, he returned the deposit box and all the valuable items that were stolen the day before. When the manager asked for a reason, Red cheerfully implied that he just wanted to test if he was still in shape.
I wanted to see if I've still got it. Turns out I do. I have a feeling it's going to be a very good year.
Let's not forget about the UN bomb defusal scene during the Corsican. Well, you might normally remember this scene as intense and serious, but it did have some funny moments. Do you remember Max's solution to opening the case? He wanted to freeze the box and destroy it with the hammer. Liz, upon seeing the hammer, what are you going to do with that? Mac, I'm going to smash the lock, whack it to pieces, and pray that opens the case. Well, obviously nobody thought that it was a good idea. Liz was in shock and Red said, "Screw this, I'm out of here." It was really funny. The bomb was eventually diffused and everybody was saved. It's also quite ironic because Raymond Reddington, the most dangerous and wanted man in the United States for more than 25 years, a man who has seen every kind of obstacle in his life and has avoided being caught by police on many occasions, was suddenly arrested on a New York street corner while buying a pretzel. It's also worth mentioning the scene where Red warns his therapist that all the ink blots look like genitals to him.
Ah, ink blots. I must warn you, they all look like genitalia to me. There you go.
It all happened just before he was about to take the Rorschach test. Then he looks at the very painting and starts laughing. It was also funny to watch the scene where Red and Demi broke into the source's house when they were playing a game of heads up with the neighbors. When Red was interrogating Guy, Demi actually kept playing along with the game. It left us all smiling when we saw how the guy's wife and the other neighbors just stood there wondering what was going on. As we already mentioned, the Blacklist loves to live in the criminal world of drama and mystery. However, it does not stop the actors from having fun on set. Did you know that sometimes they even shot for 12 hours straight? Here's what Boone told News Channel 5. You see quick flashes. It's all edited together. It looks real slick and engaging, and we're in the middle of a snowbank for 12 hours some days, so the glamour kind of wears off at times, she added. I think I work more now than I used to be awake during the day. I mean, who could blame them for having a little bit of fun after such work? Now let's have a look at Season 7 bloopers. This season features the actors James Spader, Megan Boone, Amir Ariso, Daya Klanhoff, and Harry Lennox. When ET Canada premiered the Season 7 bloopers, we could see the actors fumble their way through the scenes.
Mr. Quinton, this is Agent Red.
And yes, it's funny to watch. As we already said, sometimes the shooting days can be so exhausting and time-consuming, it's not surprising that the tired actors stumble through the line or miscalculate the distance to a chair, as in the case of Amir Ariso. The most important thing is that they have a good laugh about it later. All the outtakes are gathered on the Season 7 DVD Blu-ray set that also include the deleted scenes, cast and producer commentaries, never-before-seen featurettes, and so on. Here's what Leah Matthews, an article editor, writes about this matter. In addition to the blooper reel, bonus features include a behind-the-scenes featurette called Uncharted Territory, a season cut short, about the making of the half-animated season finale due to the coronavirus pandemic, as well as deleted scenes, cast and crew episode commentaries, and a tribute to Brian Dennehy, who died in April and recurred on the Blacklist for several years as Dominic Wilkinson, Elizabeth Keene's, Megan Boone's grandfather. Now let's talk about some of the funny moments we saw in Season 7. Y'all might remember that after Samar left, Aram started to drown his sorrows in movies and food. Seeing his friend suffer, wrestler decided to help him out by signing him up for dating apps, which did not really work out for him. He had to reject multiple women because of failed background checks. After that, wrestler gave up enjoying Aram and eating food and watching movies. This twist was quite funny to watch. Fans might also remember the episode where Reddington woke up paralyzed in a French hospital with a strict DGSC inspector next to him. He convinces the inspector to let him have a phone call with Cooper. After that, he starts endlessly talking about how he was once paralyzed by a pufferfish. Tired of the story, the inspector inspector shortly cuts him off and makes him end the phone call. However, Reddington decides to go on with the story. We all found it hilarious how the inspector rolled his eyes and left the room while Red was still talking about his pufferfish story.
Brief assignation I had with a rapturous descendant of Fletcher Christian.
Do you remember when Liz and wrestler told Cooper and Aram the whole thing about what's been going on with Liz, Reddington, and Katarina? You might have noticed that the experience Aram was left with. When he had to summarize the whole thing, your family needs therapy, and now that you told me, so do I, he said. Let us also remind you of a scene where Red interferes with the underground dining scene to go against the chef who is about to serve an endangered owl for food. Later, when Liz asks him whether he's going to keep the owl or not, Red says no because, as he says, the owl freaks the hell out of him. Now let's move to the funny moments we saw in Season 8. Do you remember the moment when Wrestler was being treated for wounds after Liz tried to bomb Red? Shortly after that, Park comes into the scene, and as soon as he sees Wrestler shirtless, he says that he's hot.
Pretty hot.
The scene where Red felt obligated to fulfill Glenn's dying wish to have Huey Lewis come to his memorial service was quite funny, and here's why. Glenn spent years claiming that he was good friends with Huey Lewis. As it later turned out, he was using this friendship as a cover-up for all the money Red paid him over the years. We all laughed at the scene where one of the most powerful criminals asked a celebrity singer to attend the memorial of a man he never knew. That funny scene where Ram casually revealed that he used to work in a circus and how wrestling reacted to it. One can say that it left him speechless. Later, Ram explained that it was just a brief teenage interest and said, I was hired as a roadie on Monday, lost my virginity to a trapeze artist on Tuesday, she left me for the strongman on Wednesday, and I was back at home eating matzo ball soup on Thursday. It was quite the whirlwind. And also, do you remember the scene where Red was posing as a bingo caller just to be able to recruit a bingo hall's patrons to help him find an assassin? When Red failed to win the folks over, Glenn's mom comes into the picture and makes up the story of Red being a priest in an attempt to catch a man who stole his church's gym fund. Red's surprise and at the same time impressed reaction was one worth seeing. Do you also remember the scene where Red managed to make a dirty cop in CPB help him find the protein? It was hilarious that he was threatening that he would eat the cop's pet lovebird. When Max gave in, Red said he would not put it in a microwave.
It wasn't that you'd kill Mr. Beeks.
In a microwave? What do you take me for?
On this note, we end our video. These were some examples of the funny moments and on-set bloopers in the Blacklist. We would like to know your opinion about the video. What was the information you found most interesting? Do you agree with everything we said? Don't hesitate to leave a comment. And if you liked the video, press the like button. Thanks for watching, and we hope to see you in the next one.